The NHL season may be over, but we aren't far from it on the Real Kipper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet, Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Sportsnet 960 in Calgary, 650 in Vancouver, and Sportsnet Plus. Jake the Snake Schultz, Derek Brandeo, Nick Kiprios, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. We continue to produce the fastest hour in hockey.
Running out of them, Kip. We're
I got nothing else to say for the rest of the hour.
2 weeks, that's it? That's all you got?
I did listen to you guys on my way home from my wedding in New Jersey yesterday.
How was it? Chaotic?
Yeah, it was the real bunkus show, and you guys got to talk a little bit, I think, in the show, right? Which was
great.
nice. Did you feel fortunate
It was lovely.
to be able to sneak in a word or two on your own show?
You know how it is. We like our people with opinions, and he's got them.
Oh yeah, he certainly does. He certainly does. But no, it was good listening. I enjoyed it.
Good.
Mid. It was a mid show.
We'll take it. I'm not mad at that.
It was a mid show.
How was the drive to? You're in New York, right?
Easy, yeah.
Yeah.
Real easy.
Smooth,
You know, I know some people may have had some issues maybe getting over the border on occasions,
Yeah.
but there's no signs of it for
Those
us.
people aren't Nick Kiprios.
Okay, that's a valid
They
point.
have like an overpass for Kip.
Nick
No.
Kiprios Bridge.
Smooth sailing
Good
for
to
sure.
hear. Welcome back.
Yeah, lots of talk, obviously, as the partying continues in Florida and what you guys liked and what maybe others aren't liking so much.
What are your
And,
thoughts?
My thoughts are, I'm glad there were no cameras in 1994.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I get all of it. I do.
Yeah.
Alcohol, championship.
That's all you need to say right there.
No, testosterone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of beating, your chest
Yeah.
with social media. I get all of it, but it's not really for me, right?
But it was for you, right? Like when you were their age, do you feel like?
Yeah, but where they're completely similar, and whether it's 1994 or 2025, is that there's a camera, there's a microphone. You know that you're live. You know that you're going out to the public. How do I phrase this? The lack of respect for your opponents was never in the equation for us. And now, I don't know if the guys continue to get egged on, and there's, Bunkus and maybe Sammy, and I don't know where you really stand on it. But
I didn't love the stuff about the Oilers.
Some people think it's great for the game, that it's good and it draws more animosity, and it's great. I just don't see it that way.
I get the idea, like Bunk was saying yesterday, that it does create genuine dislike. Like none of this fabricated, whatever. If you're the Oilers, it's like,
But
know
the
what?
game does that.
Yeah. Yeah, if you feel like he didn't need the extra thing. The only thing that really bothered me was like the losers logo from Marchand. I didn't think that. But I know you had no problem.
They're just, listen, they're drunken guys who just beat the same team twice in the final. They clearly hated each other. All we ever heard during the thing was like, oh, it's the meanest series ever. These guys are mean to each other.
Yeah.
They hate each other. They hate each other.
Yeah.
And they beat them for 2 years in a row. They don't care.
I'm also a huge Sam Bennett fan.
Uh,
Did he need to go on the microphone and just say we get to do whatever we want, whenever we want,
That's a
however
tough look
we
for
want,
Gary.
right?
It's a tough look for Gary.
I don't know whether or not, in today's world that's a really good message to send out, that, we can do whatever we want. I know one thing they cannot do.
Kipper, what is that? Is that Panna Maraca? What is that?
I don't know. It's a football in here, I think.
All I hear
Where he
is,
gets pins
all I
from,
can hear is,
I don't know what it is. But I'll tell you one thing that Sam Bennett's wrong, that they cannot do under no circumstances.
get more fans.
No. Take the Stanley Cup into the ocean.
What do you mean? They can't?
No,
Why?
because they're not allowed to.
Did they try?
They did it last year.
Yeah.
And that was this year forbidden no.
Does salt corrode silver?
You have no idea.
Oh, really?
And they were already somewhat in trouble because they dropped the cup and broke it a little bit already, and they had to send somebody down there to fix it.
Yeah.
So, but Salt
Tighten
water.
it up, boys.
I love all this.
Salt
Tighten
water.
it up.
Salt water.
Yeah.
And the Stanley Cup were never to meet.
Yeah,
This year.
that makes a lot of sense. I don't know what the
Yeah.
chemical reaction is.
Outside of that, Sam Bennett's pretty close in terms of, the
yeah.
beating your opponent up and
I
to tapping goalies and all of that. He's pretty much bang on that.
I think this is very much the Rorschach test. People see what they see in this. You can like it,
It'll
not
calm
like
down.
it, whatever.
Yeah, and it'll eventually calm down.
I haven't seen much from them since the parade. Maybe they've gone their separate ways.
Well, he's worn out.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to take a knee and have brunch.
But there was I thought it had kind of settled down, and then I saw a clip. Marchand back at the elbow room ordering pizzas. I was like, these guys are back there? So you never know. But now they've probably gone home to their families, I would imagine.
Starting to sound like Florida's doing everything they can to keep everybody right now.
But at 3 a.m., arm around each other, Marchand and those guys, we're coming back.
We're never leaving.
100% that conversation happened, including Marchand.
And then Marchand's agent's like, Brad?
Yeah, hello, Bradley.
Hey, Brad.
Hey, let me do a blood alcohol test here, and then let's talk.
As a reminder, this hour of Real Kipper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. As my latest edition of my trade board 2.0 is out, going into the draft, going into free agency. We got a few names out there, guys.
This is the all-star team.
Where do you want to start? There's a lot of demand out there as I think teams try to figure out their salary caps and how much room they have, how much they don't, what they're willing to move off of. Lots of talk. The catchphrase now is we're not necessarily shopping names, but we are listening, right? So
what's the difference? The semantics, right?
it is.
Yeah.
It is. One probably gets you in a little bit more trouble than others.
Right.
But it is what it is. I got my list out. Where do you guys want to start?
Top seems like a good spot.
First name would help.
Yeah, so just let's start by seeking clarity. Mitch Marner's name is the top of your list. It is a trade board. It is not a sign board.
Yes.
Is he at the top of the list because of the trades he will inspire, or because he himself will get traded before July 1st?
There's the bottom scope of people saying that he's willing to sign a 2-year deal to a max deal, which would have to include a sign and trade, which would be the 8 years.
Right.
So we do know that there's a lot of teams interested. The serious ones probably have been established already. What we believe could be Carolina, Vegas, Los Angeles as 3 definitively, what we believe. And then on the outside could be a team like the Dallas Stars. So I know there's a lot about certain guys, including McDavid, and we can happily have that conversation too a little later on in terms of how short of a deal that they'd potentially want. But in Marner's particular case, I don't see a world where he signs a 2-year deal, which many are talking
Two's
about
great.
like this.
But 3 or 4 makes total sense. I've been on this for years with you guys saying that the Stars should all be doing that.
Yeah.
The only ones that ever did it were the Leafs guys.